There is research that shows babies look at mouths to learn speech, emotions, and socialization. How the pandemic and masking has impacted that is still up in the air. The good news here is that local doctors aren't worried. Cassie Escher and Melissa Stavusky have got these infants at Bright Beginnings in South Bend ready for naps. Between the two of them, they've been cradling and cuddling babies for decades.
It's awesome. I hate to see them go up a room. It usually makes me cry.
But it's also sweet when they come back.
But for the past 2 years, they've been in masks.
They still know who we are, but I think it's because they've just learned how to recognize us from here up.
Throughout the world, masking has been a public health staple for more than 2 years. That means for babies who spend 8 to 10 hours a day at daycare, they're growing and developing in a world where their caregivers cover their faces.
Babies learn from watching, listening, and if they're just listening, they're not watching your mouth movement, and I think that's going to be a big one.
Right.
It's just the speech.
Past research has shown that babies pay close attention to adults' mouths, and that they use lip reading in early language development and emotional understanding. Still, child development experts say there's also research that shows lip reading is not the only way children learn about their world.
The interesting thing is that, our children who are visually impaired generally acquire language skills at the same rate. So, all kids kids are fantastic, and they really use their brains to kind of pick up on other cues, if they're not able to use that visual input.
Dr. Javier Galan at the South Bend Clinic says he and his colleagues have seen a slight increase in speech and social delays. But he says there are a lot of variables that could cause that.
It's tough to say, but there's so many things that are kind of at play, and I think the most important thing is just like a stable, loving relationship with your child.
I just noticed that I couldn't get the children to react to me in the same way. Hi, little man.
Heather Miller is the director of the Growing Kids in Elkhart. She says she's noticed a difference in the ways babies are able to understand their adult caregivers.
Tiny, tiny little babies will just stare at your face and they raise their eyebrows. They're totally mimicking everything that we're doing, and that's how they learn.
Medical experts say the hope is, no matter what the masking situation is in public, that babies are getting the love and interaction they need in the home, and that parents don't hesitate to take concerns to their doctors. The CDC has a list of developmental milestones that you can follow to see if your child is on track. I'll put a link to that on this story on our website, including free resources for speech and therapy that families in Indiana can access. In the studio, Kristen Bean, WSBT 22 News.